No, baby. Yeah, yo.
All right, man. What is good, YouTube? And welcome to the Squad Talks channel. I'm here with my boys. Start it! Mute yourself!
I looked at Darnell. I'm sorry.
Mute yourself! What is good, YouTube? And welcome to the Squad Talks channel. I'm here with my boys, Tyler, London, and Darnell. And this is a channel where we're just going to talk to each other, talk to you guys. So let's get into the first episode of this channel. We got two topics today. First one is HBCUs versus PWIs, kind of how we live our lives there. And the second thing is we're going to get into some NFL talk with the new taunting rule. So let's go ahead and get started. HBCUs versus PWIs. Who wants to start out?
I feel like I kind of have like the middle ground here.
Yeah,
so like Sam, I can go first, or like on London, I can go first. And like once like y'all are done, I'll take like the in-between side. And like after that, we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, bet. So I go to a predominantly white institution as a black man, and I see a whole different conglomeration of like things. Like, it's really easy to feel alone on campus when you're not around people who necessarily look like you all the time. Now, my university is pretty good with diversity in terms of like, you know, everything in our state, but it's still like not to the same level as it would be at HBCU. And so I actually was looking at HBCUs. I got accepted to one that I was going to go to school for engineering for, because I'm an engineering major. And I ended up visiting all of them. I ended up choosing the one I did kind of for the program, kind of the area and everything. But in terms of kind of the experience I see my friends have, because Tyler and London went to HBCUs, and so did Darnell, but Darnell also went to both. So seeing y'all's experience versus mine definitely feels different. I know my freshman year, I definitely felt there was a point where I felt alone, hard to relate. But there's just certain things, whether it's music, whether it's like food, how we handle like sports and just our whole culture, it just feels different trying to like superimpose that at a PWI versus being at an HBCU that I've never experienced before, but I've always wondered. So
I'm not gonna lie, like Virginia State, which is like the school that I go to, it was not my first choice. I'm not gonna say like my intention was to go to a PWI. I really just wanted to venture out and go to like a school out of my area. But I may not like it as much as I thought I would, but I'm blessed at the fact that I was able to be around as many black people as we are. Because from where like we live at, it bothers me, because like I went to state freshman year and I'm just like around like a whole bunch of black people, and I'm so comfortable. Like I feel at home. Like nothing feels like I gotta force how I act. I gotta change how I talk. I gotta act a certain way. So I go in there and come back home, I'm just like, yo, like I feel like I gotta like put something over like my personality whenever I come home, unless I'm around people that I'm comfortable with. And being at Virginia State low-key made me more comfortable than I thought I was going to be.
Right. Yeah, it's that code switching. Like you gotta really know how to code switch real fast.
Yeah.
Like, cause every day, like even professors that you interact with, because that's one thing too. I don't have many black professors. And I think that's one thing that I've been seeing, that you guys like have more black professors and stuff, where it's like, I don't know, it feels like when I go, like if I go to office hours or something like that, I would feel more comfortable talking to someone that looks like me, kind of like, not even knows the lingo, but just like maybe knows a little bit more of the experience. So which is why I definitely, like, I went out of my way to get into NSBE, National Society of Black Engineers, to do LSAMP, which is like another society with minorities in STEM. So that two of those things definitely helped me like feel closer to my community in that regard. So
because I don't think we ever really like talked about you going to state. Like you never really said if it was like your first choice or anything, or we just never had that conversation before.
Honestly, it was a big culture shock because I was in Stafford for like basically my elementary to end of high school. So, I mean, North Stafford was diverse, but you could still feel it was predominantly white there. And so going to an HBCU, you really do feel a sense of comfortable. Like is when police were around. That's the only time I didn't feel comfortable at Virginia State. But even in the classrooms, like you could tell growing up kind of was harder to make friends in elementary school and up because you didn't see a lot of people who looked like you in most of your classrooms. Or if you did, there was a different upbringing between both of y'all, so sometimes y'all didn't mix. But at Virginia State, you really saw a lot of the kids there had the same upbringing or were taught the same way. They respect the same. So I honestly felt it was a culture shock at first, but after graduating there and looking back on it, it was a really great experience that I had there because I feel better about being in my own skin no matter where I am, whether it's here, there, or anywhere in the world. I feel comfortable being who I am because I was just around so many people like me who had the same goals, who had the same drives as I did. And it's simple. It was simply just a really good experience that's needed. Even if you feel uncomfortable at first, it's going to be a good kind of uncomfortability because you're learning more about yourself and how you really want to be in the world.
Yeah, definitely. So like with mine personally, a VSU is not my first choice too. It was not. Starting out at like a VSU, personally, I'm very glad that I did. I had like a very good experience and stuff going there. I think like in terms of like the ins and out, we'll go like more like into that later. But like as like an overall like experience though, having like that kind of community around me, it definitely like made me feel more comfortable. I love that vibe. I so personally miss that vibe of the HBCU life. A VCU, a PWI, I won't lie, especially the first year there, I did not have a very fun time feeling like welcomed, a feeling like a sense of like belonging there too. When I got there, it was more like the teachers and students. I felt so like out of place, even like going like into class and stuff, walk in, I see like all of like the different type of students and stuff. Of course, like mostly white students and all that. After that, like I just really didn't have like fear. But after like getting like to another more and more people, I did get more comfortable. But like it's still a completely different vibe from being at an HBCU for sure.
No, you know how you said that you didn't feel comfortable your first year at VCU?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was going to transfer from state. I was going to leave. And the only reason, I didn't even tell y'all that I was going to leave because like it wasn't like being with y'all, like it made me like, you know, hated, completely despised being at Virginia State in the first semester and second semester of my freshman year. And my mom I told mom that I was like, I don't want to be here no more. I was like, I don't care where I gotta go. I was like, but I want to leave as soon as possible. Mom was like, no, like you're gonna give it a chance, give it one more semester. Now, if you really don't like it the second semester, then we can look somewhere else. So like, give it one more chance. And I'm happy I gave it that one more chance because
yeah, definitely. Like kind of like to piggyback off of that. I actually low-key wish I did give it like one more semester because like towards like the end like of my freshman year, it was like freshman year, I had like my mind on like transferring and stuff. Y'all know it was like my goal. I felt like the same exact way as you. I had it on my wall in my room. VCU 22. I'm out of here. Y'all already know about that. But like, but honestly, bro, it got like towards the end, and I'm like, being here like another year. I wouldn't mind like going through this again. And then like during like the end of the year, I got my acceptance letter from like, VCU, and I'm like, oh wow, like I can leave. Like I have like the option to leave. So there's like I talked to my parents about it. They're like, if that's what you really want, go ahead. So then like I made the switch. Yeah, I was saying about earlier, whole thing. I definitely missed like the, and I honestly like, I loved it there. I loved it there to a certain extent. Y'all know like the ins and outs. We'll get more into it later, but like, I'm like in terms of vibes, gym jams, even like turning up like in the calf, going like screaming at the TV during games and stuff like that with people that you don't even know. It's great. It's great in terms of that part.
Right. I guess my question is, so what did you guys feel like going to HBCU in terms of like your resources that you had there and like support system in terms of like academics? Like, how did you think that, I know Darnell has both, so he's been able to see both, but how did you guys feel like academically you were and the resources you had and stuff that you could do in terms of that?
I think I have to speak on that first 4 years being there. Honestly, like the teachers are very more involved. Like you could like, it was weird because growing in high school, they kind of told you how college, college, they're not going to care. They're just going to give you it and leave. But I really never got that vibe at Virginia State for most of the teachers. Some teachers were like that, but most of them were kind of more, gave you more leeway at HBCU. They would really try to help you. It's like they kind of understood that like, we both know we don't want to be back here. So they're kind of trying to do everything they could to kind of make sure you get to the next level. And 4 years being there, it was pretty consistent. Most of the teachers, even some of the bigger classrooms. Now, they were never like a PWI size classroom where you felt like just a number there, but like you still felt involved. They would try to get everyone involved, and usually most of the time, especially when you're going after your major, you would feel more involved because everyone in there would feel like they're all on the same pathway, even if just a little bit different at the end. Everyone felt like they had the same goals. So I do feel like that. But that's what is that the teachers truly make you feel involved and truly try to help you achieve your goals and give you the connections you need after you graduate.
I thought he mentioned one thing: class sizes. What's the like largest class size y'all had at VSU?
Like 20 students, bro. It wasn't a big class. I've never had a big class.
Maybe 25 at most. And that's a maybe. That's a
My
maybe.
biggest class was like 30 max.
Bruh, some of my
some
general,
And that was like a normal like English class.
some of my general
dropped out,
education
too.
students, bro. My general education classes, my gen eds. Some of them you'd walk in and it's like an auditorium, bruh.
Literally.
Auditorium. And this is before COVID, because now everything's virtual, so you just see the numbers. But like, you walk in, it's an auditorium, and I'm like, how am I going to like connect with my professor? Literally, so this is a story I have while we're here. My first day of classes freshman year, I took a chem class. And it was like, I walked in, 300 plus students, and I was like, I'm gonna go introduce myself to my professor. I was like, I'm gonna make an impact. I'm gonna go out here and make a difference. I'm gonna go talk to my professor, be like, hey, my name's Sam. I'm this major, that. I'm really excited to learn in your class. And when I went up there, it was a line of 50 students all trying to do the same thing. And it's like, I went up there, I said my piece. He was like, okay, cool. And then I never talked to him ever again. So it's like, I felt like I heard Tyler say it was like just a number, which that's also something with going to a big college. Like, that's not necessarily PWI, because there are bigger HBCUs too. But it's different when you add in the fact that you're now around everybody and you're not seeing people who look like you. Like, if it's a room of 300 Black people, it might have been more welcoming. Just being in that environment, period. You know, just because all my family's Black. You know, I grew up Black. It's just nothing I'm ever gonna be able to change. You know, so it's like, that's one thing too. Like, class sizes and feeling like you have access to the teacher. Some of my classes, even now, I'm like upper level engineering classes. Sometimes you feel like you have access to the professor. Sometimes you don't. Some professors do a good job of that. Some don't. And then, you know, it's just kind of based on that professor's teaching style and how they want to go about things. So yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Just to stay off of what Ty said, because like some of them, yeah, I felt welcome. And you want to know what's crazy? Because the only teachers I did not feel welcome by was our white professors that ever came to State. And there was 2 of them specifically that I will never get them off my, like, they're stuck in my brain because of how I had an English teacher. First of all, she was so into like Black people music and Black people this and Black people that. It was draining. Like, you were obsessive. It really wasn't like you had an interest. It was like an obsession. Right, though, I had to do an essay on, not like an essay, it was some kind of like writing she wanted to do. First of all, barely explained it. Didn't know how to do most of what I was doing. Got a C on it. She had me like talk about like the sexual assault and stuff that happens in like the music industry. So I brought up like Michael Jackson, Chris Brown, also like assaulting Chris Brown, and like a couple of other people. And you gave me a terrible grade on it. All the research I had on that, and you gave me a C. I swear to God, at least like 5 or 6 pages of just information and writing. And then my chemistry teacher, who said that I plagiarized an assignment. All I did was take the directions from the textbook and I put it on my document so he would know what I was talking about. You said I plagiarized and reported me to the student board? The Black professors are great. Love them. I don't prefer the white ones at HBCU. I don't. Only because I've had such a negative image on them.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. But anyway,
Hey, that boy said, yeah.
Yeah. Nah, but boy, there's a difference. There definitely is a difference. Connecting like with a teacher personally is something that I definitely miss. Especially like I had a math teacher. Ooh, a very quick story time. So, first day of math class. It was first semester, second semester. Anyways, so it hit like a 9 a.m. Say, there was no teacher in the class, right? Everybody like was like sitting down and stuff, and then like, do y'all remember? I like the very like first couple of days of class and stuff, like they would pass around a paper to make like a group chat and stuff, right? So everybody was passing around the paper and stuff. It got to this one student. One student took the paper, got up, walked to the very front of the class. It was like, all right, I am your teacher for this semester. Mine. She looked like she was our age, and that's why she did it. The whole class was just like, hey, yo. Ain't no way. She was like, yep.
No, that's wild.
She looked like us and stuff. And she was like, look, I want y'all to know something. I'm very qualified, like, to teach this class. Because she looked like us. You know, like, it's easy like, to look at somebody and be like, yeah, you can't teach this class or something like that, you know. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was the first day of that class. But anyways, I definitely miss having that personal connection with them too. And like my first day, I'll go into like a class of like 200 and like 50 plus students. It's like you basically have to sit in the front if you are like that type of student, like to definitely feel engaged like in the class. If you sit like at the back of like a 250 plus class, bro, like it really could be GG's for you. It really could be GG's.
And don't try to sit in the front and be tired one day and your eyes closing and the professor staring you in the face and you tired and you're in the 250 class. It's like, it's crazy. It is crazy.
It's wild. Yeah, but like, that's basically it with that. I would prefer like the smaller class, smaller teachers. In terms of the original question, in terms of like resources though, 100% VCU. Because like I remember trying to get tutoring there at VSU. It was hard, one, like to get it. Two, like in terms of like resources, help, I never got like the real like help like that like I needed. At a VSU, I got like a lot of like freebies, I guess, which was nice. Like an extra week, you know, like maybe like don't even turn out like assignment, just do this, just do that, which was like cool like and stuff. Yeah, but like in terms of like, I guess like actually learning the material, it was better like at like VCUs. Like they did have like more help, more like, what is it, internship help too and all that. Like I will definitely give that to VCU for sure.
Not gonna lie, I never did the tutoring at Virginia State.
Don't.
Whole time people came to me for work, so yeah, nah, I never really went to tutoring. The work's really not hard. Not to, because like every teacher back in high school would be like, oh, college is so hard, yada yada. No, it's not. No, it is not. No matter where you go, it really is what you make it. You can make it hard for yourself.
Yeah, I'm in a little bit of a different boat when it comes to school. Like being a mechanical engineer, sometimes like I show up and I'm in a class that's pretty big and they put something on the board and it's just like, why is this just letters, bruh? And you're telling me I'm supposed to get a number off of this joint. Like, are you serious? Like, like I'm over here, like it's senior year and I've had multiple internships and I'm doing well. It's just like, imagine if I was in that same, giving that same content in a smaller course size of people who look like me. Like it just, the environment is one thing and the content is another thing. And like London really said, like it's what you make it. Like if you put yourself in an HBCU environment and that's for you, that's cool and you're gonna get through it and enjoy what you want. Like one day we'll be able to talk to Miles about his experience. He graduated as an engineer from Norfolk State, which is a HBCU now near Virginia Beach. So I don't know if anybody has anything else to say about this topic, but we can move on to the next topic if you guys are ready. All right, so NFL, what is going on here? Let me go ahead and read this quote. The NFL bans any violent gesture or act that is sexually suggestive or offensive, and also simply baiting or taunting acts or words that may endanger ill will between teams, among many other things. Basically, the NFL, I get the violent and sexual acts. That shouldn't be anywhere, okay? That's just a thing that happens. But we're talking about you get up from running over an entire offensive line running over an entire defensive line as a running back. You get up, you maybe do a little fist pump, say a little something, and then the flag's coming out, 15 yards. And 2 of those get you ejected. So now we have we love football. We have 2 people who played football. Tyler and me just love football in general and sports. What do we have to say about this new taunting rule?
I would love to go first on this. Because, excuse me. Because this is just the definition of the no fun league See, people think that's brought up. It's like, no, they're just complaining about stuff that doesn't matter. No, this is the definition of no fun league. Like, you have to understand about sports. Now, I will say that sometimes taunting does do a little bit too much. Like, say the whistle's been blown, the play's over with, like way over, and you're ready for the next play and you're still doing something, or you put your hands on another player while you're taunting them. Yeah, I get that. That should be flagged because, you know, you're trying to instigate them to attack you in a way. But taunting, especially after, if you make a one-handed catch over a DB for a touchdown, you're gonna be hyped. It's the same thing. If you take it out in this sport, why even have taunting in any sport? Why let, when someone hits a home run and they slide into the base and they're just pumping up and they're dabbing their teammates, is that not taunting by their definition? Like, it doesn't make sense because the NFL sports, the main thing about sports is emotion. You are emotionally driven to do what you have to do, whether it's knock someone's head off, whether it's defend somebody, get a sack, all that. And when you do that, you feel rewarded. When you get hyped, you feel rewarded. And now you just feel like something that's taken away because if you do something a little bit too much, it feels like they don't want them to show the emotion that they have. And I also feel like, and you can see it now, the more these players, especially in the NFL, they show like they have a little bit more control over what they do. You feel the old ways of white owners or white GMs. You feel them trying to like overstep their ground and suppress them. You can tell it now. We are in a social media age, so players will definitely speak their minds. And I feel like the NFL is just really trying to suppress the individuality of players, even on the field now. I will say this, sometimes do players say things probably that we don't hear that are a little bit excessive? Of course. If you talk about somebody's mother, then yes, that's over the line because obviously no one's just going to take that line down. Yeah. So I get that, but I also feel like they need to have a better way of handling taunting. They shouldn't say taunting. They should say excessive taunting. That should be the rule. The rule should be excessive. If it's excessive above the normal amount of taunting, then maybe it should be a flag, maybe. But the way they're doing it right now is not helping nobody, and it's making the game less fun for the people playing it and the viewers watching it. Because guess what? What you see on Bridgington and all that, you see highlights, you see taunting, you see the NFL, you see NFL fan pages. What they bring up those big plays and stuff, and now they don't have anything to go off of because it's going to be a flag, which is crazy. That's what I have to say on that.
Yeah, man. Going off what you said, like, these are apex predators, man. These are like the top people in your competition of this sport in the world. They are the most competitive creatures we have. Like, the most competitive humans we have. Like, to try to tell them to take that, like, fire that emotion out is almost like disrespectful to me. It's almost like it seems like it's like people who are saying this haven't either played the sport or like really talked to their players, like heard where they're coming from. Like, it's just crazy to me. I'm passing on to Darnell in London now because I have a little bit more to say, but I'll let them attack it because I know they got a lot to say too.
Hey, bro, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Hey, man. I got a lot in the chamber with this one. Hey, you can go ahead, though. I got a lot in the chamber for this one, bro.
Hey, yo. Talk your talk, Darnell.
Let that thing sing.
Oh, me first?
Let that thing sing.
Yeah, but go ahead and go first. Go ahead and go first.
All right, bro. Listen. Listen. As a person who has really played the sport, me personally, I've never been a type of athlete like to really rub it in somebody's face after a play. But to me, I think there is a difference between taunting and then like being hyped during a play. When I think about taunting, I think about like that person absolutely going like overboard or rubbing like the ball like in their face. I've seen like a DB get a pick or run it back and give it back to the quarterback after. Like, that's taunting to me. Like, here, take it right back. That's taunting. But you also like the coach play. Hopefully, like maybe like we can edit it in here. How like the running back carried people on his back, dragging people, running, got tackled, got up. He could have said something. He probably said like, "Let's go," whatever. But he like flexing his face, flexing like in somebody's face, bro. Like that's not taunting. That's not taunting. Like that's just being hype about the game. Exactly like what Sam said. Like these are people who are like the best at the game in the whole entire world. These people are very competitive, and like I can't imagine playing such a sport, such like a physical, demanding sport, and trying like to turn it soft into that. That's not like really like the nature like a football. There's been a lot of rules lately about like trying like to make like the game safer, but like there's a certain line where like they like are just making the game soft in general. To be honest, if they want like a no like taunting rule, take out touchdown dances, all that now completely, because like exactly like that is what it is, taunting other person's face because like you scored, if we're going by their logic. So look, personally, is one of the dumbest rules I've ever heard in sports being added generally, but like to me, bro, it's just so like unnecessary, and trying like to take out like the competitiveness of an athlete during a game, trying to make athletes seem like robots and stuff during games when there are thousands and thousands of people screaming in the stands and stuff. And like you just want to catch a touchdown over somebody, land, and just okay, take it. I'll just watch the sideline. Like no, bro. So yeah, like that's all from me.
Dog, this is probably the worst rule I've ever heard in my life. Worst, like it doesn't make sense to the fact that you are trying, because mind you, everybody that's playing in the league right now, no one just says, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the NFL." No, it's never like that. Like that's been everybody's dream. Everybody has dedicated practically their entire lives. They put literally being in the NFL was at the top of their list, and they did everything that they could to do that. People have been homeless. People have gone through countless injuries, been broke. Like there's so many other obstacles that they had to go through to get to this point, and they love this sport way too much to not show emotion. You think if I'm at safety or if I'm at linebacker, if I clean somebody's clock, you think I'm gonna just walk back to my team in the huddle? No, I'm gonna walk away from him, clap at the camera, and then go back to my team. Like, no, there's no way I can just hold that back. I'm excited. You're literally asking me to be emotionless to something that I put all of my emotion into. This sport matters way too much to them. You're taking away the fun of the league. That's the fun part. Winning's the fun part, yes. Some people play on opposite teams and they're not, I could be playing against Darnell. I could be playing against Sam going against Tyler. Like you could be playing against your friends. This is something y'all have played for years. Like y'all been doing this like the sandbox in the backyard, playing in the street for fun. And you think now, out of all the times when I've made it to the biggest stages of them all, that I'm just going to just cut off all emotion? No. Like how Darnell said, you might as well take out all celebrations, all of them. There should be no cheering on the sideline. Nobody should cheer. There should be no clapping. Nobody should be getting loud, nothing. If y'all really want to put this into the logic that y'all want to put it in, there should be no cheering on the field. Just the fans. Simply just the fans.
Right. I think it was crazy is like, they said they don't want ill will between teams, but you want to line them up however many yards from each other and tell that person to go take that person off of their two legs and put them onto hard ground. The ill will's already there, bro. I'm sorry. The nature of the game, the ill will's already there. But I guess like my problem with it is it's so arbitrary. You're putting so much power into the referee's hands. 2 of those fouls and that person's gone. Those are 15-yard penalties. I can just imagine, bro, in the playoffs between two of the top teams, if a taunting penalty decides a game, like decides a drive that could decide a game. Like, it's so arbitrary. Like, you're putting so much power into these referees' hands, which we've already seen they make a lot of mistakes. I don't know if I got to edit some of them in, but I'm pretty sure we can get together and talk about how many mistakes they already make. But now you're giving them another thing to where they have to judge character and attitude at the same time where they should just be judging the rules of the game. I feel like it's really easy to see a blatant thing that's wrong. Like, we could put a couple clips up here and like, we could say, okay, that was wrong. When Antonio Brown stepped on that punter's head, that was wrong. Like,
it was a catch. I don't care what anybody said. It was a catch.
Oh, here, Mr.
Should have been pass interference. Since we're saying that, it should have been pass interference. Don't care. I don't know how they didn't see it. I'm sorry to get off topic.
We'll talk about that later, Cowboys and Saints fans. We'll get to that later. But it's just like, I don't want the game to become that. Like, where the referees have that much power to just take someone out of the game. So, I don't know. It's just, it rubs me the wrong way. I feel like what needs to happen is like things like that, we were talking about with that Colts game. People will see how egregious the rule is, and hopefully they just get rid of it. I hope they get rid of it before the season really even gets. I mean, we still have 3 preseason games left, so I'm still hoping by this two games left.
Yeah.
Okay, but we have two preseason games left, so I'm hoping that by that time they're kind of done with the little experiment. But I don't know at this point.
Something I wanted to bring up. Oh.
No. Go ahead.
Something I wanted to bring up is something that, like, a prime example of how this could get too much power in the referee's hands that you're talking about was the NBA this year. How many times this year in the NBA did players get thrown out for things that weren't even directed towards the referee? I remember Jason Tatum got a technical foul because he bounced the ball after he messed up on a play. Like, he messed up and they scored, and he was annoyed at himself and not at the referee. And he bounced the ball, and they called that a tech. And you can tell it's starting to get a breaking point with players, because certain players that you don't see getting all that angry are getting angry. I remember I was watching a Warriors game, and Steph shot the ball, and they didn't let him land. And usually 9 times out of 10, that's a foul, especially for someone of Steph Curry's caliber, and they didn't call it. I just see Steph Curry just start yelling at the referee as loud as he can, like telling them that they need to get their act together, because he's not trying to get hurt. And then you're just like, and then they give him a tech, but then you're just like, you see how much power they have, because they can literally decide that if a player does something that can injure another player, whether that's really effective or not. And you can also see the emotions and stuff, and they're also they're not being consistent. And I know for a fact, if the NBA is not being consistent, I know for a fact the NFL is just going to be 10 times worse. Yeah, it's going to be worse for everybody there. Like, the Jokic thing is a prime example of the inconsistency. He just won the MVP. Obviously, he wasn't trying to knock the dude out. He was going for the ball, but he missed and hit him. What you do is you give him a regular tech, or a flagrant one. You let them shoot the ball. You let them keep it, and then you move on with the game. You don't kick out the MVP of the league, because that doesn't help anybody. It just makes y'all look dumb and weird for no reason. And just think, let's be honest here. Everybody in the NFL taunts. Tom Brady taunts. Patrick Mahomes taunts. Aaron Rodgers taunts. Michael Thomas taunts. Jalen Ramsey. Everybody taunts. It's just different variations.
Phillip Rivers be talking. Phillip Rivers be talking.
Too much.
For no reason.
Tom Brady was screaming. Y'all remember during the Super Bowl song?
He was screaming.
Tom Brady was screaming in his face.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey," and then I'm like, but is that? But the thing is, though, is that a flag now? Because then we'll really when Tom Brady does something, we'll really see how serious they are about this rule. We'll really see how serious they are about this rule. Because if Tom Brady starts taunting another player, and they don't give him the flag, we'll know how much it means. We'll know how much it means.
Exactly.
Let me be a ref. You want to see how fast I put that flag at Brady?
Bro,
Oh,
let
wait,
Tom
it
Brady say,
ended?
let's go. Hey, let Tom
I'm
Brady throw a
launching
touchdown
that
and be
flag.
like, let's go. Taunting.
Excuse me.
Taunting.
That is not
Like
that is
what?
not sportsmanlike.
Right.
hurt
But
his
what?
Sportsmanlike
feelings.
whatsoever.
Say something. Say something. I dare you to be hyped. Open your mouth. I want the.
Hey, Durr, you throw one flag, I'm gonna throw my hat too.
I dare you to be
Every-
happy.
Whenever the cap comes off, it's serious. When they take that cap off,
Yeah.
it's serious.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know how many flags they throw? That means all the refs thrown their flags, and he has to throw his hat to symbolize the flag being thrown.
Nice.
That's good.
That's terrible.
That's when they
After
fight.
that, like they just start stripping. I guess I don't know.
We're
All
not
right,
doing
man.
that.
I'm
We're
not-
not doing that.
What?
We're not
What?
doing that here.
Man,
We're not doing that here.
I'm so tired
That's
of it.
it.
Well,
The
look.
refs better
What?
not.
What?
Let's just move on.
Yes.
At the end of the day,
Nah,
this
dog.
taunting rule is bad because it's going to be very inconsistent. It's going to ruin a lot of games for teams. Because I know for a fact, the more volatile, the more trash-talking players, they're going to get flagged.
The Ravens.
And if
So
they
I'm a
get kicked
Ravens
out-
fan. I'm a Ravens fan. The Ravens Steelers game literally is going to be more yellow on the field than purple and the actual yellow of the team. That's how bad it's going to be because
I know
those they
for a-
talk so much.
I know for a fact, when the Saints play the Bucks this year, 3 people getting ejected. I know for a fact.
At least
CJ Gardner-Johnson.
CJ. No.
Gardner-
You're
Somebody's boxing up
you're
CJ.
telling me, I'm not gonna lie, I want to look at the info. You're telling me CJ Gardner-Johnson, Marshawn Lattimore, Mike Evans, all on the field at the same time, and you don't think a taunting thing's gonna come out? They both thrown hands
Wait,
multiple
question.
times.
Question.
Hmm.
So then, like, if that coach back can't flex like in the space, doesn't that mean technically a DBs can do the whole thing? You know, like after because
They can't.
Look.
Oh,
that's the same thing.
they better
You
not.
can't
Does that mean
not
you can't-
call that.
No, they
and
better
that-
not.
Darnell, does that mean you can't do this? You can't do this anymore?
It's the same thing.
You can't do that?
It's the same thing. Like they
You
can't
can't do this.
not
Nah,
call
bro.
this
Look.
and that.
Dude, they can't
You
do
They
can't do
better
this no
not.
more.
Like,
They have to call that too.
They better not.
They have
get
to
into
call that
bro.
too.
They
Like-
they better not get into that.
I'll stop watching the NFL. I'm not gonna lie. I
At
will
that
watch
point-
every other football league because every other football league doesn't
I'll
have
just
that
wait till the
rule.
playoffs. I'll just wait till the playoffs.
I'll watch
At that
rugby.
point-
I wouldn't.
At
I
that
wouldn't
point-
even
rugby.
watch that. I wouldn't watch rugby. Yeah, no, I'm watching rugby at that
I'm watching
point.
rugby.
They just get blasted.
Right.
Listen, rugby players, if y'all watch this, y'all some OGs because y'all could be taking it.
Y'all
I'm just
dangerous.
feeling bad for y'all.
Y'all
Somebody put me on.
Yeah.
I would play your sport, but I'd have to be built for that sport. Like y'all are.
Y'all the
I've
only-
never seen. No, all rugby players. Diesel
Even if
and
they're not
fast.
diesel, they're still like that.
Nice.
Like, do you know? Look. There's 3 things I know about rugby. When you see on that field, you see sweat, tears, and a lot of blood
Yes.
because they are going at it. Everything
Nice.
you see, teeth. You'll see, bro. You'll see everything on there.
Somebody.
Like,
somebody would
just
knock
think
my
of 2
teeth
people clacking heads,
Bare heads.
bare
Bare
heads,
heads.
no padding, bare. Think of you're trying to throw your shoulder into someone's bare knee, and if you bounce off, I'm quitting. I'm quitting.
Oh,
What
yeah,
am I
nah,
gonna
if
do?
you're-
This is
If
the
your
best
knee's
idea.
not done, your knee better be torn, broken, shattered. all
Mortal-
that. If
Mortal
I'm feeling my
Kombat ankle
whole
meat.
Body.
Bro,
Yeah.
the X-ray. Like
I'm
it
about
better
to-
be like
y'all
that.
I'm about to
play-
put.
you
I'm
ever
about to
play
put
Blitz?
editing. Huh?
Bro,
Yes.
Blitz?
You ever
Blitz.
play Blitz? That better be how his knee looks. It's gone.
Nice.
Nothing there
Gone.
anymore.
I promise,
Oh my
if I
gosh.
throw my shoulder, I give it everything I have in the first quarter, and that dude does not go down, I'm quitting, retiring. That second, I'm going to get up, coach. You're gonna go
I'm ripping
home.
on my contract. I'm
What's
ripping
the
out your
point? What is the point?
Exactly.
I'm not gonna lie. Let me hit his knee, like nothing happens, and he looks down on me. That uppercut from the ground is going to be astronomical.
You gotta get 100-yard penalty in the NFL.
Fine.
No.
You want a 100-yard penalty.
You're gonna get ejected, arrested, and convicted all before you leave the stadium. They'll have a judge there. He'll be like, 15
I would
days.
walk in the courtroom with a smile on my face. I did it.
They would
saw
throw
what
you
he
in
did.
jail with no trial.
Right.
You saw what he
40
did.
years.
I'm not
They'll
bailing
have
you
you in
out,
contempt of
bro.
court before you take the stand. They'll have you in contempt of court before you.
I'm
take
not
the
bailing
stand.
London out whatsoever.
If I get 40 years from an uppercut, I'm just trying to imagine what someone will get for like a kick to the face or some elbows. I hit you with my fist. If you get a bop, deep beat, no. There better be some
He
consequence.
said bop, beep.
Nah.
I don't know why, Len. You
I ain't
sound
throwing
like
one.
an old 1950s car starting up. Boop, beep. Like, oh my
Hey, yo.
god.
No.
Mickey.
Oh
Whole
my
time.
goodness. Oh my goodness.
To finish
Oh my
off
gosh.
the taunting, it's a terrible rule. I think
Terrible.
it should be banned from existence and thrown off the side of the earth.
Whoever told that rule to be made,
Fired.
They can't, bro. I promise you, they can't be an athlete.
Hey yo,
No.
Ain't no way.
There's
remember
no way.
on Family Guy when Peter wanted to see my sportsman? I just want to talk to him.
You're right.
I just want to talk to
I
him.
just want to talk.
I just want to
I
talk.
just want to talk.
I'm just.
I just want to kill him.
wanna
I just
talk.
want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him. Give me 5 minutes.
That's all I need.
All right, man. Well, YouTube, thank you for chilling with us for this first episode of Squad Talks, man. If you like what you see, I need you to hit that like button, that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications because we're gonna be hitting you with a lot of content. We got a lot to say, as you know, and we 4 crazy dudes, and we coming with some more people on the channel too. So, without a further ado, we out.
Hope y'all like it. Talk to y'all later.
Oh, do it look pretty?